Discussion possible action on the minutes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on claims.
Claims this evening are $782,589.81.
Move to approve the claims.
Second.
Got a motion second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on regular and temporary operators licenses.
Tonight, you're asked to recommend approval of 9 regular operator licenses contingent on payment of any outstanding debt owed to the city and successful completion of the background check for the period of April 10th, 2018 to June 30th, 2019 to Margaret Helgett, Allison Eberts, Callie Kemper, Jacob Chambers, Tracy Chase, Christopher Darkey, Damian Hensler, Tony Erickson, and Davion Lee.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on authorization for recruitment for part-time engineer.
Mike and I would just like authorization to start the process to see what's out there as far as replacing Tom with a part-time engineer, and depending on what we find out, then we can report back.
We never had one before we hired Tom. Is that
Tom? No.
is that something is it something we need to do again, or?
Mike, do you want to?
With all that's going on, it's a huge resource to us internally to have somebody in that seat to help review development applications. And I know from the public works side, it's a huge resource for them as we're looking at all of our street projects and storm projects. So, if there's something out there, great. It was kind of a unique situation that we ran into with Tom before. So, we'll see what's out there. I don't think we have to. Obviously, we don't have to select anybody, but I think it's a worthwhile exercise.
And if there's nobody available or interested or doesn't fit with what we need, then we'll come back and
Figure something
give you an
else.
alternative to.
So Mike, Tom Sifko told me that approximately a quarter of his salary was actually recovered from developers.
Correct.
So is there any reason to expect that would change going forward?
It would probably maybe even be even more just with everything that's coming up. But yeah, I don't see, I think this last year or this past calendar year was close to 33%. So yeah, I think long term, I think absolutely that would recoup itself, or it would continue moving forward.
Well, I move that they authorize the Community Development Director and City Administrator to begin the recruitment process for the city engineer position.
Second.
Motion and second for approval. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on purchase of field drag for Grandview Park.
Good evening. This item was brought up at our Public Works meeting about a week ago, and this is a request for a infield drag for grooming the infields at our ball fields. The old one is 10-12 years old. The cost of replacement is roughly $5,000. This year we've been meeting with different organizations. There's going to be some national tournaments up at Grandview Park this summer. We'd like to keep the fields as good as we can. Funding source for this piece of equipment would be from the Public Works Parks Equipment Reserve Fund. We have a current balance of close to $26,000. So we'd like to request the funding to come from there.
We've already discussed it at Public Works and approved
Yeah.
it, so I'll make the motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion possible action on replacement of garage door at City Garage.
And we discussed this at Public Works also, and unfortunately, we were trying to hold off with this request until, our capital bonding comes out in 2019. But the city doors are in very, very poor shape, and they're coming off the tracks. And we're spending money just for repair and garage door openers. So to keep going at this rate, it's just going to be so expensive and drain our operational funds. So we thought we'd bring this before the Public Works Committee and Finance Committee and see if there was an opportunity we could get the doors and the openers replaced this year. Talked to Brenda, and there might be a possibility of getting some money from undesignated capital funds.
How much is there? Undesignated.
Undesignated is currently 1.4 million.
And that would.
I'm going to move to approve. Yeah.
Second.
Motion and second to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. Discussion of possible action on letter of engagement with Bolden and Menk, Inc. for design services and authorized preparations of plans and specifications 2018 storm sewer repairs.
This request is for our annual stormwater improvement projects. We've had Bolton and Mink do them the last couple years. So this is to approve the letter of engagement to do some preliminary investigations, do a survey, prepare plans and specs, do an estimated of probable construction cost, prepare advertising bid, send official newspaper, tabulate bids that received, and prepare contact tracks. So this year's projects are going to be doing some work on 2nd and Division, Summer and 7th, Enlow Street, Enlow and O'Neill, Namacoggin Loop, 9th and Orange Street, and we do have one alternate at Lockwood Court. These are projects that we identify, and we try to get some improvements, stormwater improvements every year. Funding would come from the Stormwater Utility Fund.
Tom, what's your criteria for identifying the projects? Wouldn't you want to concentrate on some of the older part of town and where some of the more of the older structures are? How do you decide? It's just a question.
Well, for instance, I can, last year, 9th and Orange Street, that's in the old part of town.
Yeah.
That was actually our alternate last year, and we didn't have, the bids came in such where we couldn't afford, we couldn't do that one last year. So that is on our list this year. Division and 2nd Street is in the old part of town.
No, I get it, but how do you decide? Quickly, I'm not looking for a dissertation.
Yep, I understand. Generally, it's the areas where we get complaints or we notice as we're doing maintenance projects. Actually, last summer we did, Chad Christensen, our stormwater inspector, was out doing the stormwater inventories to get our mapping and things updated, and he came across a lot of these projects last year. But it's projects like the Nemacoggin Loop area. We've had a drainage issue for that, for the last several years, but we just, finally are getting around to it or have some funding to do a project like that.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah, good question.
I'm going to move to approve.
Second.
Motion second to approve. Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved.
Thank you.
I've got nothing. Anybody?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion second to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Stand adjourned. Thanks.